My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. Alrighty, it is currently 7:01 a.m. on July 7, 2025. And this is, to be clear, what is referred to as perfect alignment. This is understanding in the specific environment where you're recognizing targeting. That targeting is underscored by the supernatural character. That's how you're recognizing that it is targeting. And it is speaking to the targeting that's underway by the population that's surrounding in that environment. This environment is also where the Ontario Police is documented gang stalking yesterday in the afternoon, with the people of the state. This is the Ontario Town Square. That's the City of Ontario providing audible activity, monitoring me. They're engaged in Title 18 federal stalking. You know that it's focused on me as well because this is where the fake sun is at. And this is the same location where the fake sun was at 4:07 p.m. where the same City of Ontario driving an Ontario Police Department vehicle is gang stalking right here at the Ontario Town Square. So this is P.O.C. Stalking in the path right over here, monitoring. That's demons, that's demonic activity, it's flashing light. And this is crossing path. And this is exactly where I was at 4:07 p.m. where the entity has the fake sun. So this is the entity engaging what is keeping the fake sun in a manner that is impossible to exist with nature. The entity maintains an illusion such that when you're walking, when you're present at the same street, this is a stalker. It's not funny, but this is a stalker. This is maintaining presence and light activity. Where the Ontario police are gang stalking, where I am right here on this street at 4:07 p.m. And Ontario police, a white male driving Ontario police vehicle number 1076 at 4:07 p.m. as I'm documenting the people of the state that are gang stalking in the garage that is filled with engineer light on the ceiling. That's also how you know that that's audible activity. And these are demons stalking in the path with the demonic method of flashing of light. This is the municipality gang stalking. While the people of the state are crossing path, they're doing so as I'm documenting yesterday afternoon and doing so in an impossible manner. This vehicle is not under the sun with regard to what is going to be idle 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 9 hours from now, which is the circumstance where gang stalking is underway. The entity is maintaining this sort of environment at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, where this is not in alignment to that couch that I'm sitting on inside of the cafe, where the entity engaged in criminal summoning. Criminal summoning is occurring, again, pursuant to what is state surveillance, knowledge about the documentation that's being published in order to prosecute the Ontario Police Department, the City of Ontario, the people of the state. All right, the entity is maintaining this fake sun over this same street, and this is recalled 7X EV 105 is engaged in demonic pacing. And this is the same exact street where you will see the Ontario Police Department crossing path. Okay, and this is the entity engaging in what is an illusion. The fake sun is in the same position right here, and all you're doing is backing up to see it over the same exact street, because this is where I'm standing at 4:07 p.m. yesterday, and the Ontario police are crossing path gang stalking. The sun is not going to be over the same building. It's not going to be over the same street. It's not going to be over the same Ontario Town Square, the same park, the same block, like I'm documenting. And by the way, this is the community library, okay? The entity has the fake sun. You know exactly where it is. As I move to the opposite end, you'll see the same fake sun, and this is the population gang stalking with the City of Ontario. P.O.C. 8SZB 402. And as they're crossing path into the fake sun, which is right here, both on foot and in vehicles. Okay, the entity is maintaining the ongoing pattern of conduct, and there is also no natural environment where the sun is going to be maintained over, like I documented, at the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, where the Ontario Police Department are gang stalking me by helicopter, like I documented on podcast and on video at 5:33 p.m. And here it is at the same OVITT Family Community Library at 7:05 a.m. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. As I document that Ontario Police Department that also was gang stalking, flying in circles over me at 7-Eleven at 715 North Euclid Avenue last night, and at the TABOR Professional Building, 320 West G Street last night, following from place to place. The entity is engaging in what is identifying targeting through the unnatural environment. This is the disbanding of the Ontario Police. The white male driving vehicle 1076 is going to federal prison. He is gang stalking with the people. This is the fake sun that's over the same venue. This is speaking to targeting that Starbucks is also engaging in, and L. Edwards is going to federal prison. He's engaging in what is a kidnapping under the fake sun at 7:15 a.m. at 507 North Euclid Avenue. And I'm documenting the entity keeping the fake sun over the OVITT Family Community Library, which is the same specific environment where Starbucks is engaged in the P.O.C. with the City of Ontario, including the Ontario Police Department, engaging in what is a criminal act of obstruction of justice. The entity has the fake sun over the parking garage at 10:13 a.m. while I'm inside of it, capturing engineer light on the ceiling inside of that parking garage. The sun is here at 7 in the morning. 3 hours later, the sun is not going to be across the street at the same venue. You have a whole rest of the country, and this is speaking to what is the entity engaging in, what is targeting, and you're recognizing it in that environment. You also clearly recognize it while the people of the state exhibit their demon possession. They're always stalking with light. They're always stalking in the path, cutting off my path, making sure that they're always surrounding. That's group stalking, and they're demons. 9KEA 621, the entity amplifying plane activity. They're gang stalking. They're all engaged in federal stalking. All right, and they're doing so, again, with regard to where they live, where they work, and where they're traveling. They're stalking in the path in traffic. It's not traffic. It's demons that are stalking in the path. It's surveillance. This is P.O.C. 4:07 p.m., same street. That demon is going to federal prison. P.O.C. Primary. You'll see, just like Alaska Airlines at Stater Brothers yesterday morning, the fake sun is over me, where the entity is deviating from taking off at the airport drive, the terminals at the airport. The reason why they're deviating is because they are engaged in stalking, which you're also recognizing through an environment which is supernatural. The sun that's at the OVITT Family Community Library, that's at the Ontario Town Square, is still here at 6 p.m. At 6:02 p.m., where the entity is stalking with helicopter over my head as I exit the OVITT Family Community Library. At 6:10 p.m., where I am still capturing the entity, maintaining the fake sun. At 1:07 p.m., where the Ontario International Airport is gang stalking while I'm at this entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, and doing so as I'm documenting the Ontario police and the people of the state are surrounding with what are means of light activity creation. City of Ontario at 280 North Limit Apartments and WCA, these are gang stalkers, corrupt companies, just like Starbucks, just like Pizza Hut. This is the federal RICO case. Start engaging in what is the pattern of conduct relevant to monitoring, doing so with the Ontario International Airport, flying over me, noted with the fake sun. This is what Alaska Airlines is doing at Stater Brothers yesterday at 7 in the morning. This is P.O.C. That is the entity stalking again by plane, flying over me, where the fake sun is over me. And it's exclusive stalking to me because the entity's keeping the fake sun, like I just captured on video, engaging what is making a U-turn in doing so. I'm going to go ahead and capture that for you. It's merely the engagement in audible activity of the City of Ontario stalking using the municipality vehicles. This is Pollyon's removal. They're engaged in state surveillance. They're engaged in criminal conduct as a city. And this is at every level of government, the municipality itself, the employees working for the city, and the fire department, the airport, and the police department, as I've documented, engaged in surveillance and kidnapping. And unprecedented violation of privacy is inherent to that. This is the entity that has the fake sun, as you are aware of the video that I am capturing and the images that I'm capturing. The entity has the fake sun over me while I'm walking through the neighborhood. Remember, while I'm through the neighborhood, walking through the neighborhood, there's no natural environment shared with Los Angeles at the same time of year where LAPD is gang stalking. The entity is engaged in what is harassing me while I'm uploading documentation of what they're doing on a moment-by-moment basis. The entity is already prosecuted. LAPD is maintaining the specific environment in a manner that is entirely irreconcilable. In Los Angeles, there's no sun in any natural environment where these demons stalking in Teslas in the parking garage, stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library, stalking at Woodside Senior Apartment, stalking at Starbucks, both of them at 706 West Hull and at what is the 507 North Euclid Avenue. That is the City of Ontario that is gang stalking, is under what is a conclusive fact of a fake sun that is irreconcilable with the fake sun that LAPD is gang stalking me under while it kept it over my apartment in Los Angeles. In addition to that, on a day-by-day, moment-by-moment basis with short-sighted demons that are engaging what are necessarily stalking, that is following the leader, who is showing you how they are all stalking, including through a demonic environment, and their demonic behaviors are highlighted in that. The entities in doing so while flying over, that was Amazon Prime, and in the video you'll see the City of Ontario and the demons driving commercial vehicles stalking in the path with flashing light, using the vehicles to do so. These are demons. All right, so demons are associated with commercial actors, construction workers, municipality workers, landscaping and whatnot. They're engaged in demonic activity. They're monitoring. And they're under a fake sun that's over the same exact location as I documented at 4:07 p.m. yesterday. And all of this is impossible to coexist with the LAPD, who is necessarily gang stalking me in the specific environment under a fake sun that was maintained over me, where you can readily identify the crime scene, as I documented in 2024. The entity is engaged in this P.O.C. with regard to, again, mental illness. So this is why you have the Ontario Police providing such a... There is no question. The Ontario Police literally flew in circles around me for 20 minutes at the OVITT Family Community Library. I'm at the OVITT Family Community Library right now at 7 a.m. The fake sun is here. So the entity is engaging in the obvious criminal conduct with the demons that are cleaning up the trash, driving in and out of the parking garage, living at the apartment complexes, engaging in work around the structure, driving in traffic. They're all engaged in criminal monitoring under a fake sun. These are the demon possessed that are looking as obvious as a demon that's levitating on the ground, but they're not. They don't levitate at all. They don't even have an intelligence quotient that can put together all these facts and make sense in how they should conduct themselves accordingly, so that they don't look as obviously guilty as they do. But the entities just engaged in what is demonic. These are demons, and so demons engage in what is demonic. The entity is engaging in it in an obvious crime scene, though, for purposes of a prosecution, for purposes of evidence, in order to support convictions. The entity is in the environment where the Ontario police are gang stalking on video at 5:30. The fake sun is over me on video at 7:01 a.m. at the same address. The entity is gang stalking via Amazon Prime at 7 in the morning. Well, the entity is gang stalking by commercial planes, as I'm documenting, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon at the same OVITT Family Community Library, the same entrance, where the entity is shown to be targeting through the maintenance of a supernatural environment. And in conformity to that pattern of conduct, the more probative my evidence, the louder the demons get. You can hear the weed whackers. First of all, it's activity under a fake sun. These are demons. Second of all, the demons are hostile, and that hostility is translated into the noise getting louder and louder. Another iteration of this is in Starbucks, when the murmuring becomes louder and louder laughter and louder conversation, the more damning my analysis is as you listen to it. It's all happening under the fake sun. And by the way, this fake sun that's over the 280 North Limit Apartments is not in alignment with the window where I'm sitting on the couch capturing the fake sun at the same time, where I sit on that couch and I remain there and I document the people who are pacing in and out of that cafe, molesting my person with impossible light activity, while they are not strangers. They are demons who are stalking and monitoring me with knowledge of who I am, while that fake sun is not in a manner over the 280 North Limit Apartments, where the Ontario International Airport is flying over me, where that fake sun is, and that's not at 507 North Euclid Avenue, which is evidence speaking to targeting by Starbucks, the corporation. A very heavily documented pattern, including the pattern of Starbucks to engage in obstruction of justice, like they did with the same gang-stalking Ontario Police Department that is targeting while I'm in Starbucks and targeting while with all of the rest of the people of the state as well. Ocean and Amelia, Brian, Elena, Patty, they're all going to federal prison for gang stalking and then engaging in what is kidnapping pursuant to obstruction, meaning hostile, and they're really hostile because those demons are scared. My evidence is very potent, meaning it's directly proving what demons thought would never be capable of being proven. But I proved it a long time ago. What they witnessed is me specifically focusing on Starbucks. So while I focus on Starbucks with the evidence of the P.O.C., the evidence to prosecute anybody that's engaging in gang stalking, because that's how much evidence I have, this is when the entity is summoning the police, which is a documented pattern of conduct. And literally the entity reiterated that pattern of conduct the next day under the fake sun. You're going to federal prison, and they're doing so with regard to actually nothing. So they didn't even have any. They just said, "Oh, they just want you to leave for not. We just don't want you here." The entity is doing so pursuant. The context is that I was on my phone, and I also made a purchase. And the entity is aware of what's on the phone, what I'm doing on my phone with regard to documentation, which you're free to do in any American citizen. You're going to document the government that's keeping you under surveillance, and the government that walks into what is a facilitating venue and seeks to engage in what is harassing, intimidating, threatening, and kidnapping, any of the above, they're going to prison, because that's how the police engage in kidnapping, while you are engaging in what is exposing them for keeping you under surveillance. And it's not helpful when that same police department then continuously engages in keeping you under surveillance after you leave that venue, which is confirming what you were documenting and what you were subject to while you were in that venue. And the entity is going to be the evidence that I'm submitting against Starbucks, the corporation, and the employees that engaged in gang stalking via kidnapping on July 4th, 2025. All right, the entity that has the fake sun is, by the way, like I stated, that's over the parking garage, that's over the 215 East C Street. It's not over and in alignment with the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, which is speaking to gang stalking by that company, by that establishment, by the employees, by the people of the state being patrons. That's a federal RICO case in order to engage in the pattern of conduct. While they're purchasing coffee, they're molesting, and harassing with impossible light. While they're purchasing coffee, they are gang stalking, crossing in the path, engaging in relevant positioning. They're doing so under the fake sun. They're doing so in concert with the Ontario Police Department. They're doing in concert with the Ontario International Airport, whose plane activity and helicopter activity is occurring where the fake sun is, and that is over and around me, which is the P.O.C, which is also what LAPD is doing, which I'm documenting in 2024 on an ongoing basis, and that is evidence that is also irreconcilable. The entity's prosecution is already complete. As I document them kidnapping, as I document them stalking day-to-day in helicopters and in police vehicles, it's accumulating a list of people that are going to federal prison, including Tracy Banks and her sex partner, Jason Isaac Fields. It's currently 7:22 a.m. It is July 7, 2025. This is P.O.C. at what is the Ontario Town Square, where the fake sun is still present. If you'll recall my documentation of the Ontario Police at 6:26 p.m., this is where the fake sun is present until sunset. And that's how you also are aware of the context regarding what the landscapers, what the municipality employees are doing. They're gang stalking, they're monitoring, and they're being paid. This is the federal RICO case against the government. Okay, systematic monitoring and criminal surveillance with the people of the state. It is currently 7:23 a.m. This is P.O. All right, it's 7:35 a.m. The entity maintaining activity, Cameron Adult Day Services, is stalking in the path. They're going to the 280 North Lemon Apartments, engaging in what is light activity, relevant positioning. This is federal stalking conduct. They're contributing to the environment, targeting in the environment, gang stalking, and they're doing so through a corrupt business. That is Cameron Adult Day Services. This is analogous to the entity gang stalking through Access Transportation Services at Alvarado Gardens, as I documented. The adult day health care that would gang stalk at the Alvarado Gardens, with the LAPD under the fake sun over that apartment complex, over my office, over the top of my head all day long. The entity gang stalking with the landscaping is analogous to Jose and Sons gang stalking under the fake sun, as I was managing the apartment complex at Alvarado Gardens where the entity kept the fake sun. The entity is engaging in the P.O.C. Through the City of Ontario. You'll see this uploaded in the images uploaded to the Google Drive. The entity is engaging in the exact same pattern of conduct. You're just changing a business name. It's the same thing with regard to demon possession. It's the same spirit. It's just a different vessel, a different face, a different name, for example, but it's the same personality. It's the same conduct. It's the same behavior, okay? And it is gang stalking. And so in the same way, you're looking at what is the fake sun, as I'm documenting at 7 in the morning. The Ontario International Airport is flying over me while I'm at the Ontario Town Square, and it is stalking. There's no sun over the Stater Brothers at 636 West Holt Boulevard. 646 West Holt. This is where Alaska Airlines is stalking, where the fake sun is over me at the Stater Brothers. You can see the fake sun over the building of the Stater Brothers inside of the Ontario Village Shopping Center. 7:27 a.m. I capture that. The entities kept the fake sun over the Ontario Town Square where I'm at, stalking with commercial planes that are deviating from taking off from the airport drive, 2500 Airport Drive. You're not taking off over there while you're hovering over, creating loud plane activity and hovering over the park over my head, where the fake sun is over my head, where the demons of the City of Ontario are gang stalking using landscaping tools as a means of audible activity. They're pacing. All right, and the entity is using corrupt businesses, just like Starbucks, using an establishment, using demons that are engaging in what are the pattern of conduct, using businesses that are using vehicles associated with those corrupt businesses. They're gang stalking together. This is where the fake sun is still present at 6 p.m. upon my exit of the OVITT Family Community Library. This is where the fake sun is still present, like I documented yesterday at 4 p.m. while I exited the OVITT Family Community Library. It is 7 in the morning. The airport is stalking. The municipality is stalking. Everybody driving in the carport, the car garage, where you already know engineer lights above their heads. They're all systematically monitoring. Everything's already exposed. Like I said, there's no mystery here. And the entity provided what are 3 additional videos of evidence against all of them. The Ontario Police following me around from place to place for 20 minutes, flying in circles everywhere. And I have no idea what about the entity that's engaging in the bully system of gang stalking that they think in their minds, only in their minds, and in a corrupt court. But this is not what's happening, and it is bare bones, like evidence on the side of the plaintiff, that you would stalk somebody, harass them in helicopters, and that's helpful to your case, to not being the defendant that is guilty of targeting an American citizen. How that is helpful to the state's defense, and that's just standing as a prosecutor, understanding how this is going to go in court. But this is what the entity has always relied on: bullying conduct,
Again, the entity is not capable of bullying me. I'm laughing at the foolishness that they are giving to me that I get on video and I put it on the internet. And by the way, those that are looking at the unlawful arrest that was committed at Starbucks, if that's some sort of, the demons that are, if you're celebrating that, you're celebrating the demise of the entity that is proven to be gang stalking. That was a foolish act, an admission of surveillance. That was incriminating. That was incriminating to everyone, and that's not helpful. To the case of the state, by the way. I just want to be clear. The entity needs to look like the one that's targeting. The entity needs to look like, and that's exactly what they look like, because that's exactly what they are. That was no means of celebration with regard to, the demons celebrate because, oh, well, they put handcuffs on her while the demons are sitting around obsessing over my YouTube channel and the podcast. I just want to let you know with regard to what are the allegations and evidence in a court that's needed to support and prove for convictions, that is evidence that is supporting the prosecution for federal group stalking and monitoring by the Ontario Police Department and the people of the state, going by the name with very deep pockets, Starbucks. Very deep pockets that I'm going to drain with regard to their criminal engagement in this exact same pattern of conduct that is happening under a fake sun that is not over Starbucks, because I'm not at Starbucks, where Starbucks is maintaining that establishment as a crime scene. Although Starbucks is in relevant position because it's incriminating them, because it should not be there in a natural environment, and it's there because Starbucks is targeting. And Starbucks engaged in what is a kidnapping, summoning the gang stalkers in order to engage in what is that kidnapping that I documented on video. And it is only the demons that are as foolish as flying in circles over my head for 20 minutes on video that are celebrating that federal offense documented on video. The demons that engaged in that kidnapping are going to prison. So that's what you're celebrating. And again, this is what the entity is providing evidence to. And this is all, none of this is even getting into what Michael Moore and Dominic Choi, Karen Bass of Los Angeles Police, the city of Los Angeles have already committed. It's already on the record. And I'm providing ongoing juxtaposition, what the entity is doing out here with the airport, with the police, the fire department, every level of government, the people of the state in the specific environment from morning until evening. And then you're looking at what LAPD, it's the same exact P.O.C. It's the prosecution of the state of California. Just giving you context about what you're going to see while the entity flies over my head at the Ontario Town Square, where, by the way, I've already documented 2022, 2021, both the sunrise and the sunset. I've been documenting this since 2018. I began documenting in August of 2018, by the way, of the fake sun being present at Ontario Town Square over me, where the Ontario International Airport is hovering over this park, targeting me. And this is when I first started my documentation. All right, the entity has changed the construction. It was fields before the entity built the parking garage and the apartments, but it's the same location, the same Wells Fargo, the same Ontario Town Square, the same apartment complex, the same OVITT Family Community Library, and you will see the Ontario International Airport in large commercial planes hovering over me in August of 2018, the fake sun early in the morning. I'm here yesterday in the evening. There is no term of years, daylight savings time or not, that compensates for what I am capturing, which is supernatural. In the natural environment, I literally captured 7 in the morning, the sun is over my head, 5 in the evening, the sun is over my head still. This is stalking, gang stalking, all of those that are, again, ignorant about how the law works and what you are all being led to, which is a public demise, the demons who are watching, your own demise. That was not a celebratory act. That was a federal offense that is helping the prosecution of you and every other demon that you're gang stalking with. Okay? Because the entity is surrounded with evidence, and it's insurmountable evidence. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:43 a.m. at the Ontario Town Square. The people of the state crossing path, fake sun over me. This is a public corruption. And then Indian Southwest Airlines flying over the same Ontario Town Square, P.O.C. All right, these are the occupants of the Ontario downtown apartments, gang stalking, the demon-possessed Tesla owners driving into the parking garage, which is filled with engineer light all over the roof. They're gang stalking together. 7:44 a.m. This is the same mental illness exhibited by the demons flying helicopters in circles for 20 minutes, and I'm publishing it on the internet. It's the same mental illness. Engaging in obvious criminal conduct to the demise, the demons that engage in gang stalking, which is demon possession, is relevant to the mental illness of those, and they are engaging in what is a publicly exposed crash out while they engage in obvious criminal conduct that's incriminating to them and incriminating to the entity itself while I prosecute. P.O.C. It's currently 8:31 a.m. That's plane engines sounding over the Ontario Town Square where the fake sun has not moved anywhere. So that's not the sun that's over me where Alaska Airlines and the Ontario International Airport are gang stalking at 7:30 in the morning yesterday at Stater Brothers inside of the Ontario Village Shopping Center, number 1. You also know it's not the sun because the fake sun is still over this location over me at 5:33 where the Ontario police are gang stalking in the sky space over me with the fake sun over me at what the Ontario Police Department is targeting where I'm located at the same address. That's not the sun either. The entity is sounding plane activity pursuant to the same pattern. Ontario police flying over my head in circles last night as I published the podcast as I began processing on my phone at the TABOR Professional Building, the Ontario International Airport, stalking under the fake sun in the engineered environment pursuant to surveillance where these businesses around are creating activity they're monitoring. All right, in the same way that Starbucks' main service of coffee, drinks, and snacks is while they're simultaneously engaging in the pattern of conduct, which is malice of the entity that's engaged in public corruption, surveillance, a federal RICO case. The entity sounds plane activity, stalking in planes under the fake sun at 8:32. It's 8:31 when I'm starting. As I am publishing, the podcast is published at 8:31 a.m. at the exact same time. Okay, this is the Ontario Town Square at 224 North Euclid Avenue in Ontario, California. It is the City of Ontario. It's state property. This is the government acting directly by both the property itself and the people of the state that are gang stalking on the property, around the property. The government stalking me, flying over me on the property, and doing so pursuant to surveillance of the evidence against that government. Okay, it's currently 8:33 a.m. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, 8:35 a.m. The entity engaging in criminal summoning. That's the City of Ontario engaged in Title 18 federal stalking with the demons who are engaging in the elements of monitoring on state property, the Ontario Town Square at 224 North Euclid Avenue under the fake sun. Doing so was simultaneity to my uploading the video for the July 6, 2025 podcast. It is entitled 7/6/2025 Federal Group Stalking and Monitoring, 18 U.S.C. Sections 2261A, subsections 1 and 2, hashtag SIIS. The moment that I download that, and it is uploading right now, and I'm going to add it, it's already completed. It's at 8:36 a.m. I'm going to publish this right now. The entity is engaged in what is ongoing stalking online, federal stalking, while they are gang stalking me in relevant position. The fake sun is here, and that's the evidence of what the City of Ontario is doing. That's why the fake sun is still here as the Ontario police are flying in circles over me, which I documented on podcast and on video at 5:33 p.m. And in totality, it was over 20 minutes. The entity is engaged in what is, again, surveillance online and surveillance in concert with the people of the state. In doing so, while I'm sitting on the bench under the fake sun, which I'll take a picture of because the fake sun is still here, so it's never the natural environment at Stater Brothers. They're engaged in monitoring my vagina, which is exactly what Alaska Airlines and the Ontario International Airport were specifically documented for under that 7:33 a.m. fake sun, where the entity engaged in bathroom monitoring inside of Stater Brothers with that company, Stater Brothers, who's engaging in that sex offense together. The entity is doing so while Engineer Light appears on the bench adjacent to me. This is terrorism that the City of Ontario is engaging in, inflicting, while they're engaged in what is monitoring me, gang stalking. And this is the same City of Ontario engaging in what is kidnapping me at various venues where I'm engaged in documenting this entity that's keeping me under surveillance and gang stalking. It is currently 8:37 a.m. This is P.O.C. 9:17 a.m. Stalking by the Ontario International Airport, flying over the Ontario Town Square where the fake sun remains. Capturing images of it right now. It's going right on the Google Drive. The people of the state are crossing paths, walking in Engineer Light, stalking, replete with minor children. This is state surveillance ongoing, and this is nowhere near 507 North Euclid Avenue where you would see the sun in alignment to me, where a bunch of demons are gang stalking inside of the Starbucks cafe at 507 North Euclid Avenue. None of this, of the position of this fake sun, is where opening and closing the door is going to result in hitting my person with Engineer Light while they open and close the door, pacing in and out like cockroaches that are standing upright with two legs, where you confuse them with human beings. They're demon-possessed gang stalkers at that cafe that were engaging in surveillance, and that's why the fake sun is over the Ontario Town Square, where it's still present at 5:33 p.m. like I documented the Ontario police gang stalking me on video by helicopter. Then it is 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 hours later. Okay, the fake sun is right over me, which is identifying the Ontario International Airport targeting. You also identify targeting because they're deviating from taking off anywhere. A plane taking off from 2500 Airport Drive and 2900 Airport Drive is not hovering northwest over the Ontario Town Square. It's not. And not only that, you're understanding the uniform identification of gang stalking. The fake sun is over the target individual all day long. It is currently 9:18 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, license plate 7FBH528. 6XCP114. Seven JHE549. 7LWA967. Wells Fargo is gang stalking. The 280 North Limit Apartments, gang stalking. The Ontario City Hall is gang stalking. The Ontario Fire Department is gang stalking. The Ontario Senior Center, they're gang stalking. These are the venues that are in the immediate proximity where the entity has the fake sun over me. The City of Ontario is gang stalking, driving a municipality vehicle, license plate. Vehicle 4155, license 1459925. Crossing path under the fake sun, which is moving as I move about into the parking garage. License plate 6Y.I.S. 162, 8VCC 907, 9SZX 882, 7WOG 611. Crossing path 9RNA 516. Okay, license 8NYG 228, 7HWK 683, PONYY16, ETHANSS, 9BHB 503, 8GVJ 239, 25649K2, 7272337, FOTOBAE, JLISCO1, MEZACOM, a demon representing U.S.C. in gang stalking American citizens, 6HFT479, another one representing U.S.C. in gang stalking American citizens, 8DWC147, 9NRN923, demon stalking with light, license 9RNA516, again pacing in engineer light. This is a demon stalking in the parking garage. Engineer light moving all across the ceiling, as you already know. P.O.C. That's a demon. And this entity gang stalking with the Ontario Police, surrounding just like they were on F Street last night, 9MHU505. This is what they're doing, surrounding in the perimeter with light, impossible light activity. This is the same parking garage where you saw the impossible light at 10:13 a.m., where the sun would not be, like I documented on video, at 7 a.m. The parking garage, if the fake sun is present at 10:13 a.m., that's the pattern of conduct. It's not the natural environment. The sun would not still be 3 hours later at the same location. 8KDF317, 4RSX649, 9PSN 192, 8MJU240, 9BSL787. And by the way, all these demons that I'm documenting, they're monitoring in real time while their co-defendants are pacing all around me inside of this parking garage, terrorizing me, surrounding me with impossible light, gang stalking while the defendant is being documented. That's somebody that is conspiring murder and kidnapping. The demon possessed that are gang stalking. 7KAB460, 9JJA577, 45744B2, 8SOR387, 9JYM673, 6ELM748, 9FFR726, 06978E2, 41791X1, 5ZEP991, 7KPJ192, 9KHS333, 9TCP406, 53807E2, 7CSB683, 6YTN684, 7JHA477, 56088M2, 8UUZ367, JANAYA1, MV653 handicap, engaged in surveillance in the parking garage, just maintaining presence in the path. 7NWJ055, 7JBA961, 8KWE884, 8EJS755, 8NRF996, 9PIZ178, 1497505, that's California exempt, by the way. 9TJZ841, 8DMV741. Capturing engineer light just sitting on the ground inside of this parking garage, it's absolutely impossible. That's the significance of stalking with engineer light. 7VCL315, 6VNM188, 7WKP789, 5144084. 9RDF249. And it's currently 9:24 a.m. Documenting the people of the state engaging in gang stalking me while the Ontario International Airport is maintaining surveillance, flying over me, harassing and terrorizing, gang stalking with the people of the state. These demons are parked in a parking garage that has engineer light plastered to the ceiling. They're all stalking as a means of what is the pattern of conduct as a population. In doing so, while they are tracking your steps, a bunch of demons stalking you together. This is the P.O.C. All right, you'll see my shadow appearing inside of the parking garage while they're all stalking engineer light. A bunch of sex offenders charging up their Teslas, 9 MHU 505 included. License. Oh, this one over here. This one would be license plate EB30X70 paper. 8VEZ992, 9BVA189, because I didn't read these, J696HO, 7HDH892, 7XJJ845. The entity that is gang stalking with the entity that's sounding sirens. They're parked in the parking garage, not only that has engineered light on the ceiling, but they're inside of the parking garage that has the fake sun from, like I documented today, I documented yesterday, 8 a.m. until 4 p.m., 5:33 p.m., the same city of Ontario stalking a helicopter. That same helicopter stalking at 7-Eleven, at Pizza Hut, and then again at the TABOR Professional Building. This is the population as I document them, and I publish them with regard to the Department of Justice prosecuting a population engaging in what is keeping me under surveillance with the government in furtherance of murdering and kidnapping me. I just documented identifying them individually. They are one entity, however, sharing criminal engagement in that pattern of conduct, and none of them are ignorant about the fake sun that sits over one building all day long so that they can together as one entity keep me under surveillance with the government that's very foolish in providing a whole wealth of evidence against every single last one of them. It is currently 9:26 a.m. Let me show you the fake sun also that's over the OVITT Family Community Library. This is where the Ontario Police were gang stalking by helicopter, flying in circles while I'm documenting on podcasts because the entity is, again, these are fools. These are demons that are not intelligent. You'll go to federal prison for gang stalking in a helicopter when I prosecute you with the podcast documentation. You'll go to federal prison when I document you gang stalking by helicopter, when I capture it in images, and when I capture it on video. The demons are engaging in fleeing from your visual sight when they're flying in circles for 20 minutes. I captured about 11 minutes before I capture video, and when I start the video, you see those demons of the Ontario Police right over the top of my head at the location of the building where I'm at, and that's exactly where you see the fake sun, where it's at right now at 9:26 in the morning. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that all of them that I documented, they're gang stalking together. That's a population sharing criminal engagement in that pattern of conduct. And you need to understand the sex offense of the gang stalker because they're all monitoring my vagina. They're all stalking my genitalia. They're all concerned with what's between my legs. Those are sex offenders. Those are sex offenders. And you need to know in California, for whatever reason, a lot of them, most of them, they purchase Teslas. So whatever you want to attribute to that. But the entity has a wealth of gang stalkers purchasing Teslas. That's supposed to be some product, some representation of status. No, the status is gang stalker, sex offender, demon. That's the status. And there's nothing impressive about it. There are a bunch of demons in Teslas under a fake sun stalking one person, monitoring this woman's vagina, and I'm exposing all of them. Engineer light flying all about. This is a mental health patient. 7NLU783. 7NLU853, excuse me. Let me show you that. That's a mental health patient. Stalking. The engineer light's in front of their car, okay? That's the evidence of stalking, and that's an act of terrorism. That's supernatural, and you have a pattern of conduct of that supernatural conduct happening all the time. They're stalking. And guess what? What is not over 507 North Euclid Avenue is the evidence of Ocean and Amelia and Patty and Brian and Elena of Starbucks and the Starbucks Corporation, the establishment itself, engaging in criminal surveillance of furtherance of murder and kidnapping, and a basis of federal prison because they engaged in kidnapping with the intent to obstruct justice, because not only are they gang stalking, they're engaged in what is monitoring the evidence, and kidnapping is pursuant to hostility and aggression, seeking to obstruct justice, and they're going to prison for that. As surely as I show you the fake sun that's not over and visible through the windows of that Starbucks that's on Euclid Avenue, facing the direction facing east, which you can't see it while it's over me, while I'm at the location that I'm at now, the Ontario Town Square, OVITT Family Community Library, and this is where I'm documenting the demon, the white male driving the Ontario police vehicle number 1076. He's crossing paths on this same street over here, the fake sun, the fake sun, not the actual sun, the natural environment where surveillance is not underway, where it's not readily identifiable for the purposes of a population that's maintaining presence as one, meaning a bunch of demons that are engaging in what is merely vacillation of their persons all around me, pacing in engineer light, not in sunlight and under a fake sun, the identifier for that crime scene. That's where that demon's going to federal prison. I documented him and that license plate, and he crossed paths with the intent to threaten and psychologically torture, which is what these demons are continuously doing on video. Okay, clearly the demon possessed, clearly the Ontario Police Department, clearly these demons are not elite and sophisticated, but clearly they have no plan. They've never engaged in gang stalking somebody that does have a plan, and it's a long plan. And the plan is that when you provide evidence of that nature, there's no mystery in court. You're going straight to federal prison. It's currently 9:30 a.m. This is all right, documenting the people of the state, the entity sounding sirens. That's the city of Ontario that's gang stalking me. This is what American Medical Response was doing. Remember, the fake sun was on Hope Boulevard yesterday morning. This is how you're able to recognize stalking by a bunch of unintelligent demons that are engaged in what is showing ongoing consistent inconsistency, because it's not the natural environment and they're following the leader. The leader is the federal prosecutor. So the entity is engaging in the pattern of what is stalking and proving that they're stalking by engaging in what is helicopter activity, as I document the people of the state, which is exactly what the Ontario Police Department is doing right now. Everybody that I just documented is engaged in federal group stalking monitoring with the Ontario Police Department. That includes the corporation Wells Fargo. That includes the management of the 280 North Lemon Apartments, which is, again, I believe, related to the city of Ontario. Everything regarding the city of Ontario is corrupt. They're engaged in state surveillance. Every aspect, every level of government is engaged in surveillance. The entity is sounding helicopter activity with regard to that department that's being disbanded. L. Edwards is engaging in what is kidnapping on video. It doesn't get any more idiotic than that with regard to arrest me, I'm the criminal, I'm the one that's stalking you. And that's what the entity is doing day and night, including by helicopter. And you're recognizing the pattern that's been long existed. I'm documenting, oh, there's the entity stalking by helicopter again. Okay, I'm going to document over here. Oh, there's the entity stalking me by helicopter again. Okay, I'm going to document over here. Oh, there's the entity stalking me by helicopter again. This is the entity that's obviously engaged in criminal surveillance, and their overly used tactic, which does not work against a federal prosecutor, who is going to use that evidence in order to enhance terms in federal prison, in order to make sure that the people of the state are subject to what are extensive damages that are designed to destroy your company, because your company does not maintain any right to engage in surveillance and profit from gang stalking with corrupt governments that want to steal and defame and kidnap and murder American citizens. I'm going to prosecute you civilly and criminally for that. The people of the state are going to be prosecuted just like the government directly, using helicopters and fire departments and police departments and ambulances like demonic psychopaths to engage in stalking somebody, surveilling someone. Okay, they're going to be diagnosed and placed in the appropriate facilities accordingly. You want to engage in what is pacing all around in a helicopter, then you want to be placed in a padded room where you can pace all around and be examined, okay, regularly. You want to engage in what is pacing around in fire trucks and police vehicles? You want to do that on video? You want to do that while you're being prosecuted? Then you want to be regularly medicated. You want to be placed in a facility, because that's where people that are that unstable and openly engaging in what is evidence of it, that's where they go. That's where they belong. Okay? The entity is engaging in this while I'm documenting the people of the state. Every license plate that you just listened to, they're all engaging in what is obstruction of justice. That's additional federal charges. Additional. Okay? They're threatening as an entity, which is the pattern of conduct. It's overly used and it's very heavily documented. The entity that is mentally ill does not understand that they're being prosecuted. This is P.O.C. It's under the fake sun that's still at this same address in the evening. Okay, that's P.O.C. and it is indeed stalking. That's a supernatural occurrence. The supernatural feature of the pattern of conduct is that which is no coincidence. It's clinically referred to as the pattern of the demons whose criminal system is exposed and who are going to be prosecuted for their engaging in what is engaging in surveillance in a manner that's entirely malicious and designed to falsely depict the character of another person, and that's just absurd. When you are documenting the stalker's behavior and what the stalker is doing is going to be attributed to that stalker. And that stalker is a maniacal psychopath. That stalker is going to be subject to mental examinations upon federal prison for gang stalking. It's currently 9:36 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, it is currently, again, 9:37 a.m., 8 CIE 940. Stalking in the path. Let me show you the fake sun while they're engaged in surveillance at the Ontario Town Square. Remember, Ontario police at 4:07 p.m. are stalking on this same street crossing path. You'll see the fake sun right over me while a stalker is in the path. That's gang stalking 101. License plate 95773D3. License plate. License plate. Oh, I'll get the back of these license plates. It looks like 9JZF418. License 52400U1. City of Ontario is engaging in they're merely making noise and light activity. They're monitoring. They're doing it under the fake sun. This is the corruption and this is the criminal waste of resources by Paul Leon and the municipality that's engaged in criminal surveillance. License plate. License crossing path just like Ontario at 4:07 p.m. 8B14310. The same exact circumstance. The fake sun is on right now what would be the east side of my person at 4:07 p.m. on the same street, same circumstances. The fake sun is on the west side of my person where Ontario police is gang stalking like the people of the state are gang stalking. License CLF1071. You'll see that image uploaded to the Google Drive right now at 9:38 a.m. 5000, hold on. Handicap license plate 50001 and the Arizona license plate is CLF1071. Okay, this is P.O.C. at the Ontario Town Square. The Ontario Town Square, by the way, it's like a big plaza of the city of Ontario. So the OVITT Family Community Library, do not get confused. And I always am speaking about what you should be looking at on the map. This is why I hone in on things like the address, because when I point out two addresses to you, that's an indicator. Look at how close it is. From the OVITT Family Community Library to Starbucks, it's on Euclid Avenue, and the entity engaged in sunrise, sunset conduct between the two venues. Now, when I sit at the OVITT Family Community Library, I didn't go anywhere. And if I go across the same street at the turn circle, the Ontario Town Square, it's the same address. This is the plaza. The Wells Fargo is here, the Ontario Town Square, the 280 North Limit Apartments, the Ontario City Hall, the College of Laverne University, the University of Laverne College of Law. It's all connected as one plaza. Okay, so when I'm speaking about the Ontario Town Square, this is adjacent to the Ontario OVITT Family Community Library. So I just want to be clear on that. So where I'm documenting the Ontario Police gang stalking at the Ontario Town Square at 6:26 p.m., which I have on video, and I'm documenting them gang stalking at 4:07 p.m. like I got yesterday, which is again on video, and I'm documenting them gang stalking at the OVITT Family Community Library at 1:07 p.m., which is on video, and I'm documenting them gang stalking at 9:48 a.m. at the OVITT Family Community Library, which I have in images, and I'm documenting them gang stalking at 5:30 p.m. yesterday, which I have on video, and I'm documenting them gang stalking at 6 p.m. on video at 6:10 p.m. as I walk past the Wells Fargo to go to C Street and Euclid, which is again steps away. Fake sun with regard to the environment, that's not movement. The sun is not going to be at the same driveway, the same street, the same building as you walk outside of that building at 6:10 p.m. and it's on video. The entity gang stalking, again, the years of evidence that exists. June 16, 2022 at 10:29 a.m. over the OVITT Family Community Library. Corey Watson in the Ontario Police Department engaging in kidnapping with the people of the state via criminal defamation, making up information about my character and what I allegedly did, and they did it under the fake sun while they're gang stalking, just like I've been documenting in 2025. That's the fake sun documentation showing you how all of the pattern of conduct is connected in concert with the people of the state who are going down with the government. They're going down together. It's currently 9:41 p.m. This is P.O.C. All
All right, bathroom monitoring by the Ontario Police, monitoring my vagina. That is doing so in concert with OVITT Family Community Library. That's the City of Ontario, the entity being prosecuted for the sex offense. That's relevant to the RICO case. The entity is engaging in what is monitoring my vagina with a population, doing so under the hallmark, which is the fake sun, doing so with the police that are present by helicopter, that's Mike LORENZ, and doing so while I'm documenting stalking in the path with light activity, and that is the third-party business. Looks like Maria Aguilera. She's gang stalking, license 7XOU504, monitoring my vagina crossing path under the fake sun, the Ontario Police over my head by helicopter, and this third party, which is Metro Express, California 137096, U.S.677.034, and the license plate is 32757J3. The Latino male is entering and exiting the venue. They're monitoring my vagina in doing so and engaging in the business as the outer guise of that pattern of conduct. The fake sun is over the same venue where the Ontario Police is doing the same thing, flying over me, over the fake sun, over the same address at 5:30 yesterday. Okay, this is the entity that is centered around my genitalia in the bathroom inside of this venue. This is 215 E.C. Street, the OVITT Family Community Library. And this is again L. Edwards is going to federal prison. So is A. Quesada. So is Escobar. Nathan Morgan. C. Torres. L. Martinez. And you have Nathan B. Hook, who are going to federal prison, the kidnappers, and the entity is going to be disbanded. The gang stalker and the Ontario Police vehicle on this same street, 4:07 p.m. He's going to federal prison. This is the entity surrounded with the evidence of monitoring, keeping me under surveillance, and also capturing the sex offense where they're engaging in ceaseless surveillance as a population, which is an unprecedented basis, proven where the entity is engaging in what is a violation of your privacy in an extraordinary manner, and it's also demonic. Shown through what is always the ongoing connected pattern identified through the maintenance of that fake sun. The entity is inside of the venue. They're all in engineer light, walking all around, monitoring my vagina together, and I walk outside to get that fake sun, where everybody outside is also engaged in that sex offense as one, replete with that same police department, punctuating the stalking by the City of Ontario, using helicopter over my head. It's 11:36 a.m. This is the perpetual sex offense, P.O.C. 2:38 p.m. The entity, they're all demons, they're all sitting in and maintaining presence in engineered light and engaging in the demented behavior of hitting objects with simultaneity to my activity on my devices and my physical movements, and they're all doing it in this specific environment under the fake sun. This is that mental illness that is exhibited through the behavior of those that are engaging in the criminal pattern of conduct on behalf of that police department flying over my head pursuant to bathroom monitoring. So those are, again, sex offenders, stalkers, demons who are monitoring, and this is all associated with the criminal conduct of the City of Ontario, many of whom I documented by license plate this morning, engaging in surveillance, not any free or constitutionally protected or private speech inside of the venue. And this is, as of 2:39 p.m., psychopathic ongoing activity creation by the demons that surround on the first level inside of the library. And again, stalking inside of the venue is underway as I move about inside of the venue, and that includes, as I documented, in the bathroom. It's currently 2:39 p.m. This is documentation of ongoing terrorism that the City of Ontario is engaging in. This is P.O.C. This is policing the bathroom area. This is a sex offense. They're doing it under the fake sun and doing it pursuant to knowledge that they're being documented. Before, it was the old Caucasian, the old dirty bastard sitting outside the bathroom. This is called relevant positioning, and for purposes of being in the engineer light, this is a sex offender. This is P.O.C. All right. This is a sex offense of the entity engaging in that pattern of conduct, doing it under the fake sun with regard of the restrooms. All right, I know that you are crossing path, entering and exiting. This is the sexual violence engaged in by the Ontario Police Department, because that's what you're looking at. All right, you're remembering the entity stalking by the Ontario Police everywhere I'm going. This is the Ontario Police stalking vicariously and doing so through the population, manning the bathrooms. P.O.C. This is the engineered light that everybody is walking in, and you can see my shadow that bounces in front of me, and there's another one to the side. It disappears, and then another one. I'll show you as it moves in front too. This is not normal light. This is engineered light. They're all stalking. The entity is engaged in harassment and terrorism while a bunch of demons sitting under the fake sun that's still over the same building that it was at 7 in the morning. And this is relevant to the context of a sex offender that's engaging in surveillance with the police for purposes of engaging in a sex offense, such as manning the bathroom so that you are forced to cross path with them so that they can gang stalk you and make sure that nobody is abandoning position. This is the significance of that. Okay, that's the fake sun. That's the significance of that. And these are the demons stalking with light. Okay, the entity is engaged in the sex offense, monitoring my vagina. In the same way you just saw the Ontario police flying over my head as I walk out and document. This is the pattern of conduct. The entity is maintaining ongoing obsessive presence, and this is going to be the prosecution relevant to that RICO case. The sexual violence, the federal stalking in the path. This is a corrupt business. This is what Amazon Prime was doing before. Another same conduct, different logo. And this is pacing. Okay, P.O.C. Engineer light in front of a commercial actor doesn't change. Same demon, 04867W3. And here's the fake sun. And corrupt businesses like Starbucks, U.S., Amazon, you fill in the blank, gang stalking. This is not over 507 Euclid Avenue. And it's the same location where it was at 7 in the morning. 8KYE324. These demons are manning the path of the bathroom inside, monitoring my vagina. 4XOY979. This is the sexual violence of the Ontario police. You could see corrupt businesses that include Amazon Prime. They include UPS. They include FedEx. I've documented the wealth of evidence already exists about the federal RICO case against every business in California engaging in state surveillance. And this is all of them engaging in what is federal stalking. Federal stalking includes the exceedingly violent sex offense of maintaining surveillance in places like bathrooms where your genitalia is no legitimate interest of the government. This is P.O.C. and these are demons. License plate. This is Ontario Police pacing in helicopter through the people. License plate. 8XQD938 0874 8X3 75546C3. Corrupt business. Sunset. Distributing. P.O.C. Distributing, excuse me. These are demons one after another. This is the satanic spirit operating over a group of people. This is the same town square where the entity was gang stalking, flying over me while I was sitting over here. This is the pattern of conduct under a fake sun. 9RXM862. And this is the lawlessness you saw at Pizza Hut last night while the Ontario police were flying in circles, following me from this library to the Pizza Hut to the TABOR professional building. This is lawlessness. This is demonic activity. And they're all obsessed with my vagina. And this is the same place where you saw the Ontario police flying over me this morning while I'm documenting the entity monitoring my vagina. This is the same entrance, 215 East C Street, where the entity is indeed engaged in what is monitoring in bathrooms, maintaining presence outside of bathrooms, going in the male restroom to stalk in the path, sitting outside of the restroom to make sure that you're stalked in the path, making sure that they maintain surveillance about your genitalia. That's a sex offender. The entire city, including, by the way, the demons at the Starbucks that engaged in kidnapping because they're keeping the evidence against them under surveillance. And that's why Ocean is going to federal prison, who you saw facilitating kidnapping with the gang stalkers of the Ontario Police Department. This lawlessness is why they're going to prison. This sex offender is what engaged in committing kidnapping with the Ontario Police, literally stalking from the library to the Pizza Hut to the TABOR professional building, and committed a kidnapping via L. Edwards of the Ontario Police Department and A. Quesada and Escobar at 507 North Euclid Avenue under the fake sun. They're going to prison, every single last one of them. It is currently 2:52 p.m. where the sun would not still be at the same exact address like it is. And also you saw it yesterday where the Ontario police is flying over me while I'm right here, and the fake sun is at the same entrance at 527 when you're looking at obvious criminal activity, surveillance. And it's all demonic, okay? P.O.C. Multiple faces, same conduct. And they're all walking around pacing like this in engineered light. This is called stalking with light because it's not the sun. The sun's not in Florida. This is a crime scene. You're looking at demons over 80, demons under 18, demons driving commercial vehicles, demons driving their private vehicles, demon stalking with light. This is P.O.C, obsessed with my vagina and knows what's going on while I'm inside of a different building. This is massive surveillance. This is the prosecution of the state of California, and it's going to be the disbanding of the Ontario Police. P.O.C.
What were you saying? Okay, I just wanted to document the employees coming in the bathroom and asking if I'm okay, which is again speaking to knowledge. That's speaking to knowledge of my being in the bathroom in the first place. And I didn't even see this particular person that came in to the bathroom asking, "Are you okay?" So she's referring to someone. I guess she knows who she's talking to, and she knows who's in the bathroom. Number one, when she's making that statement, and number two, it is mysterious again, but for surveillance. Why she's asking whether I'm okay. There are people that sit in the bathroom as they're harassing me and sitting in the bathroom forever. So I don't know why being in the bathroom is cause for them to ask me if I'm okay. And then she doesn't answer my question and she walks out. And this is a demon that knows that I'm gonna start documenting. But I am asking, yeah, I'm in the stall? Like, what do you mean? That is monitoring though, it's monitoring. But I'm getting to the question of that not making any sense why she's asking me while I'm in the bathroom stall. And I don't know this person's name, but this is a female who works in the library, about whether I'm okay inside of the stall. So it is P.O.C. I'm going to document. It's 3:11 p.m. The entity's monitoring what I'm doing inside of my inside of the stall, where again, ostensibly you can't see what I'm doing inside of the stall. You're not supposed to be engaged in surveillance or what I'm doing on my phone inside of the stall. But this is what the knowledge that they do have when she comes in asking whether I'm okay inside of the bathroom. That's amplified noise heard through the walls of the bathroom, under the fake sun, and an engineered light where they're walking in and out of the bathroom as well. The library is filled with engineered light. This is monitoring in real time, and this is the same library where the Ontario Police are flying in circles routinely at the OVITT Family Community Library, engaging in the sex offense. And looking at my screenshots of the fake sun at 7 this morning, at 10, at 11:30, at 1, and I just stepped out and got it at 3. They're looking at all those shots and then coming in and asking me, and apparently knows that I'm in the bathroom, me in particular, because she didn't say, "Is anybody in here?" She didn't say, "Is it Erica? Erica, are you okay?" She didn't say any of that, so it's speaking to specific knowledge about who's in the bathroom. And you don't see anybody standing there. You don't see anybody there looking at and inspecting who's going in and out of the bathroom. But I want to document that. It's a method of monitoring. It's currently 3:12 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, thank you. Where's the other lady at? Is that her? Hi. Are you the one that was in the bathroom speaking to me? No? All I saw was dark here. I don't know. Somebody was asking, nothing happened in the bathroom, but they were like asking me, "Is everything okay in the bathroom?" I was like, "I'm using the bathroom." Yeah, okay. Alrighty, thank you. I don't know if there's nobody else down here because I don't know if you know, or maybe somebody else asked. And you know that. All right, thank you. Okay, that was definitely that employee that I just spoke with that entered into the restroom, and did so again with all those assumptions are made. Again, this is the entity that speaks and doesn't realize what they're telling you when they speak, and she is denying that it was her, and it was her. She is engaged in monitoring, but this is the entity that's also engaged in a tactic. Another tactic is the toilet paper being used up. And so this is the guys where you have a male standing outside of the restroom, and this is ostensibly waiting to enter in order to refill the toilet paper when they are stalking in the path, manning the path, just like you saw the African-American female, and just like you saw the old dirty bastard doing earlier. This is manning the path. This is literally policing the restroom area in order to maintain surveillance. This is getting to the mental illness that you see exhibited. The entity tries to do it calmly. The entity tries to do it nonchalantly. The entity tries to do it pursuant to what is supposed to be accepted with regard to, for example, refilling the resources available in the restroom. It's the P.O.C. And it's speaking to psychopathic obsession and perversion, predatory behavior. It is currently 3:29 p.m.
Again, entering into the restroom, there's a lot of assumptions behind the statements that were made with regard to, hello, are you okay? That's specific. That's speaking to knowledge about my presence in the restroom, and also my being in the restroom or how long you're in the restroom. The other demons that are monitoring me in the bathroom, there's no time limit on them, and there's nothing wrong with them when they're in there for like however long they are, just stalling in the path. When the demons are monitoring, anticipating that I'm going to go to the restroom, being weirdo sex offenders stalking in bathrooms and harassing somebody by holding up a bathroom stall. These are the demons that are stalking me with light under the fake sun. Anyway, it's currently 3:30 p.m. This is bathroom monitoring at OVITT Family Community Library. Surveillance in bathrooms. All right, and these are the demons sitting around doing this. Beating on the desks is the audible noise that surrounds why a bunch of psychopaths are focused on me. They're not focused on anything else. And you know that as a matter of a conclusion, a legal conclusion as well, because the fake sun's over this building. And it was over this building at 7 in the morning. It's 3:30 p.m. This is P.O.C. 8:17 p.m. Helicopter activity. 8:16 p.m. Not LAPD, but the same entity, Ontario PD, crossing path on what is G Street while Tracy Banks is right here in relevant position. This is the entity engaging in psychological torture. Gang stalking with those whose name you know and those who you don't know. And it's the same police department gang stalking all day long at the OVITT Family Community Library. This is P.O.C. at 636 North Vine Avenue. P.O.C. License 7DVJ730 with Ontario Police. Stalking with light 6VPF128. Molesting. And on the surveillance cameras. This is P.O.C. Tracy Banks is gang stalking with the Ontario Police together in the same way that they engaged in criminal summoning on May 29th. She's going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. It's malice, psychopathic behavior, P.O.C. License molesting, license 29899G1, 9LVF233, and Tracy Banks is engaging in the pattern of conduct with them. 7DVJ730, she always is. She's in the presence right now, engaging in it in my face, which is relevant to psychological torture as well. P.O.C. 8:44 p.m. Ontario International Airport, immediately followed again by the Ontario Police Department, gang stalking while I'm remaining at the TABOR Professional Building. And just as an aside, Tracy Banks is always engaged in the pattern of conduct. She remains inside a Woodside Senior Apartment. Her license plate is 9HUZ740. The distinction is that today at Andy's Burgers under the fake sun, which you will see a screenshot to remind you about the fake sun at 1 o'clock in the afternoon in the same position over my head while Tracy Banks is gang stalking her daughter that she has a fake conservatorship over, while she is targeting me with the government, and that is the Ontario Police that sounds helicopter while that fake sun is over me this morning, like I documented during the 10 a.m. hour. And again, when I am at the OVITT Family Community Library, you'll see the Ontario Police Department over my head in helicopter where they're monitoring my vagina at that OVITT Family Community Library where the fake sun remained as of 7 a.m. And right now, while I'm documenting the Ontario Police Department, again, crossing paths, stalking me incessantly, again, Tracy Banks is going straight to federal prison. There's no mystery here. And her co-defendant is continuously stalking me while she is standing in my presence, which is her threat to me specifically. Remember, she's maintaining a secret conservatorship. So this is somebody that is malicious, acting in furtherance of my murder and kidnapping, seeking to psychologically torture me while then seeking to criminally defame me in the corrupt courts with the corrupt departments that include the Ontario Police, whose stalking conduct is fully exposed on the internet. And it's also going to be the subject matter of the prosecution and the disbanding of that corrupt department that is still again at 8:45 p.m. stalking and helicopter crossing path again right now. It is currently 8:46. This is, again, Tracy Banks. She's going to federal prison. This is the department that she summoned to her apartment to engage in kidnapping together. And they're the same ones that are stalking every day and every night in helicopter. They are indeed going to federal prison together. All those kidnappers on May 29th and everybody engaged in kidnapping on July 4th. And the Ontario Police is still gang stalking, as I've captured, on an average, pretty much every morning and every night for the past couple of days. The Ontario Police maintaining a consistent pattern of stalking in a specific environment. It is unique to me, as the pattern of conduct shows. It's exactly what the Los Angeles Police Department is doing as well. The Ontario Police is being disbanded, and they have proven their co-defendant to be gang stalking for the purpose of trying to steal money
property from me, which Tracy Banks isn't getting, and she's going to prison for it. And the Ontario Police is being disbanded for it. They are the unintelligent demons that provide evidence against their co-defendants, where they're psychopaths who engage in what are proving the purposes for why they're engaging in the corrupt system in the first place. Psychopaths are not the best co-defendants because they lack self-control, and when they engage in criminal conduct, everybody that's acting in concert with them is going to be prosecuted as well. That includes the people of the state. Okay, so it is currently 8:47 p.m. The Ontario Police flying in circles around me again. I've been recording for 3 minutes. So again, at the moment I begin recording, the Ontario Police are flying over me at the TABOR Professional Building. Of course, you know the fake moon is right over me. This is the case. As I'm continuously documenting, the people are still stalking. They're pacing. This is not traffic, it's surveillance. The entity is engaging in what is stalking while the entity is flying in circles around me again as I am recording. That's the impunity, the mental illness of Mike Lorenz and every demon that is employed by the Ontario Police that's being disbanded while the stalker is witnessing its exposure and still stalking. That's an unlawful threat posed by a corrupt law enforcement agency that is progressively in real time acting toward murder and kidnapping. Doing it while it's being published on the internet. These are the fools that are being disbanded, okay? And you witness the evidence of what is my vagina in the bathroom being kept under surveillance, and all I do is walk outside of that bathroom and I show you what is the helicopter with regard to the stalkers that are engaging in surveillance in the bathroom at the OVITT Family Community Library. You know that because the fake sun remained over one building from 7 a.m. and as you saw yesterday, it was still over that same building at 5:33 where the same conduct was happening, actually. The same thing that's happening like I'm documenting right now. The Ontario Police flying over me, flying in circles over me with helicopter. That's what they're doing when they're monitoring my vagina. Because that's what L. Edwards is interested in. He's interested in my vagina, while out of his face, he's talking about the fact that I didn't purchase a Starbucks drink. That's merely audible activity. That's sex offenders going to prison for kidnapping. And the ongoing documentation, the consistent documentation of kidnapping by that department is why he's going to federal prison. He's also going to be subject to mental examinations because of the malice thereby exhibited while engaging in gang stalking and wearing a police uniform. It is currently 8:49 p.m. That's the Ontario International Airport contributing evidence against the Ontario Police, who are engaged in criminal surveillance as a police department while the City of Ontario engages in the exact same P.O.C. flying over the TABOR Professional Building, stalking. Just as you witnessed them flying over the Ontario Town Square, stalking while the fake sun was over me at 7 a.m. where it remained all day into the evening. Okay, this is P.O.C. And like I stated, this is evidence getting to what is the legal conclusion that the demon-possessed do not understand because, again, you're not dealing with intelligence, you're dealing with corruption. This is a legal case that is already complete. Tracy Banks is going to federal prison. It's 8:50 p.m. This is P.O.C. All right, the entity stalking again by helicopter. Remember, audible activity is a method of monitoring. So the Ontario Police is engaging in ongoing stalking with the people of the state and using helicopter activity as the method. This is the ongoing stalking conduct by that entity in the Engineer Light at the TABOR Professional Building. This is P.O.C. All right, that is the Ontario Police right here stalking in the path. This is the same targeting that you're recognizing that they're doing over my head at the OVITT Family Community Library, where the entity kept the fake sun from 8 a.m. until 5:33 as a matter of video documentation. There is no question regarding who the Ontario Police is targeting. And this is the unintelligent conduct of criminals who are going to be disbanded based on the corruption of that department that's engaging in what is stalking as an entire department. They're gang stalking, and demons are engaging in gang stalking. They're also being exposed as demon-possessed, as you're understanding how the demon-possessed that are in law enforcement engage in targeting American citizens. It's pursuant to what is criminal surveillance that's underway in the United States. This is the evidence that's also putting Tracy Banks in federal prison. There's no question regarding her motive. There's no question regarding the lies with regard to maligning my character and the government that she acted with. And it includes a lot of the criminal conduct that I documented the Ontario Police Department engaging in. And this is criminal conduct that Tracy Banks is engaging in with them right now. She's at Woodside in relevant position sharing in Title 18 federal stalking while the Ontario Police is exhibiting mental illness. You're looking at them engaging in their ritualistic conduct. In the Engineer Light, this is while a vehicle comes from behind. That's not headlights. The Ontario police are demons and they're stalking. This is the system of surveillance. All right, their mental illness is exhibited through the light activity, as I let you know about the mental illness of the demon possessed. Their criminal activity is also proven through that engineer light, which is not occurring through what are headlights. It's impossible light activity while demons are stalking in the path. This is the demonic system of gang stalking. This is Mike Lorenz. I was monitoring my vagina today while the Ontario police flew over my head at the entrance of the OVITT Family Community Library, where the supernatural is also occurring there. That is the sun remaining over that entrance as I document morning, afternoon, and evening. This is a P.O.C. It is currently 8:53 p.m. The entity's sounding helicopter activity is relevant to what is amplified in volume. This is occurring in what is engineered light. I've got 1, 2, 3 shadows. These are flat on the ground because, as you'll see here, I have upright shadows over here. This is the entity that's engaged in this P.O.C., and this is the impunity of a department that is speaking to the mental illness and the corruption, the impunity and malice with which they're acting, and furtherance of murder and kidnapping an American citizen. Tracy Banks is going to federal prison. Okay, so is Nathan Morgan. He engaged in kidnapping. He was gang stalking on video on May 29th. That's what you're understanding. And so was B. Hook, L. Martinez, and Nathan Morgan. They're all going to federal prison, and so is L. Edwards, A. Casada, and Escobar, who engaged in kidnapping with the same entity, the people of the state, at third-party facilitating venues Starbucks, 507 North Euclid Avenue, where you're looking at the big picture of the evidence, where I'm consistently showing you a supernatural environment and the consistent presence of the Ontario Police Department, who are using the hallmark of stalking in that specific environment as it is identified, where you are recognized as targeting, not only through that supernatural environment, which is demonic, but also through the pattern of engaging in what is stalking in helicopters, which is exactly what is shared with the LAPD as well, where the entity is keeping a fake sun from sunrise until sunset at my apartment complex at Alvarado Gardens. The Ontario Police is being disbanded as surely as you're seeing impunity by the people of the state that are engaging in impunity. Their vehicles are not going to cause dynamic shadows of the trees and the bushes on the ground, on this wall, and no sane person engages in this conduct, stalking one person as I'm documenting it. I'm not chasing down the helicopters. The entity's flying over my head by helicopter at the 7-Eleven, over my head in helicopter while I'm at the OVITT Family Community Library, where I'm also showing you a fake sun remaining for 11 hours at that venue. This entire department is obsessed with my vagina, and they're stalking me everywhere that I'm going, and they're presenting evidence against Tracy Banks that relied on this department to defame my character and kidnap me. They're all going to prison for it. This is P.O.C. All right, that's impunity by the people, and this is again the evidence that's also putting the kidnappers of Starbucks, the Starbucks Corporation. I'm going to prosecute them. The entity is engaging in what is gang stalking with the same department, the same entity. Ocean and Amelia and Patty and Brian, they engaged in gang stalking via kidnapping with this entity that's engaging in surveillance. Surveillance with regard to a secret conservatorship and things like a fraudulent marriage, where governments are targeting American citizens, and as my documentation proves, the entity is not stealing my property with regard to necessarily artificially engineering mental illness. The mental illness is proven by the entity that is gang stalking. This is a demon, and this is a corrupt government actor as well. They're going to federal prison. Paul Leon's being removed, Michael LORENZ is being removed, Michael GERKEN's being removed, Alan D. WAPNER is being removed, while the entity is engaging in what is ongoing P.O.C. This is criminal conduct shared with the people of the state. Starbucks employees are going to federal prison. Tracy Banks is going to federal prison, and the Ontario Police Department, every kidnapper is going to federal prison. All right, this is what is well beyond any pattern of, any coincidence. The pattern of conduct is going to result in what is disbanding, kidnapping police departments that are engaged in the unprecedented act of surveillance of gang stalking in the United States, which the Ontario Police Department has proven law enforcement agencies are engaged in, and so has the Los Angeles Police Department. They have proven that law enforcement agencies are engaging in that. They're not the only ones. And the entity is subject to what is federal prison, as I document the police department gang stalking me day and night, as I have a body of evidence proving that as well. It is currently 8:57 p.m. The entity is engaging in what is an ongoing P.O.C. And as you witness this, this is the impunity that Ocean and the employees at Starbucks exhibited while they were engaged in gang stalking me, molesting me with impossible light, while they're engaged in what is harassment and terrorism with the Ontario Police Department, while they're engaging in keeping my evidence under surveillance, and then summoning that gang stalking entity of demons using helicopters and all the resources of a police department to keep me under surveillance, and then kidnapping me in order to obstruct justice. All of the employees that are documented on July 4, 2025, they're all going to federal prison as surely as the ongoing gang stalking by the Ontario Police is ongoing corroborating evidence of what it is my documentation has already proven. That the City of Ontario is engaged in surveillance, i.e. the system of gang stalking, doing so through the corrupt business as well, the establishment and the employees at Starbucks. And this is in conformity to that P.O.C. This is the Ontario Police stalking from place to place and engaged in kidnapping with Starbucks, by the way, including while you see them stalking me here when I'm nowhere near Starbucks. And Starbucks is another venue where the Ontario Police engages in kidnapping as well, while they're aware that I'm documenting them. This is clear targeting while you're looking at the impossible light. Their headlights are not going to aim and create my shadow at a distance on this wall. This is what the entity is doing while they're stalking me as a population, targeting when I'm inside of Starbucks. The employees are going to federal prison, and so are the kidnappers of the Ontario Police Department. Every gang stalking police officer that I documented, stalking me under the fake moon and under the fake sun, in this cartoon environment, these psychopaths are going to prison. It's currently, again, it's 8:58 p.m. Jason Isaac Fields is going to federal prison, and so is Tracy Lemire Banks. It is currently 8:59 p.m. And this is the environment where the entity is engaged. On my podcast, I'm documenting ongoing, moment by moment. The entity is flying over by helicopter. I'm recording on podcast. The entity flew around in a circle over me while I was recording on podcast again. And then the entity is engaging what is stalking, flying in circles on video as I'm capturing it, and flying over my head again. This is the entity targeting by helicopter, letting the world know. The entity wants to provide obvious evidence to the federal court. That's fine, because all the documented kidnappers, they're all going to prison as well. That's not going to be a mysterious prosecution either. Straightforward. It is currently, again, 9 p.m. on the dot now. It's 8:59. This is P.O.C. at the TABOR Professional Building. Okay. It is currently, as you can hear me recording that video, 8:59 p.m. And this is consistent podcast, so you're aware of the moment-by-moment chronology. The entity is stalking as I'm documenting on podcast, and I go into video in order to capture it, the visual of the stalking conduct, the targeting by that police department, and then you're always mindful of the bigger picture. This is the same gang stalker that committed kidnapping at Starbucks. Starbucks is gang stalking as well. The entity is engaged in an outright abort from having the sun anywhere over Starbucks at all, when it's remaining over the OVITT Family Community Library and I don't go to the Starbucks. Because if it's remaining over Starbucks outside of that window and over the entrance, then it's not over 215 E.C. Street, the OVITT Family Community Library. But that's exactly where it is, and that's not possible when I'm documenting an entirely different environment, when I'm at a different location. And the two are not happening at the same time. That's the P.O.C. recognizing targeting. And Starbucks, where you're engaged in criminal surveillance, it's already a federal case. Then you're engaging in what is kidnapping because you're keeping the evidence under surveillance, and you think that kidnapping a targeted individual, let alone a whistleblower, and in this case, the federal prosecutor, oh, that's prosecutorial suicide. You're going to prison. Every single last person that I specifically documented for that precise reason, because they're going to prison. And this evidence on another night of gang stalking is the evidence against every single third party, including Starbucks, the corporation. This is the system that they're engaging in. While the people of the state are the baboons that are presenting evidence about what they're doing at Starbucks, that's exactly what they're doing. It's impossible light activity, obsessive stalking with the Ontario Police in the specific environment, and the Starbucks establishment is that crime scene where they committed kidnapping. They're going to prison. They're going to prison. All right, it is currently, as you can hear that, it's currently 9:01 p.m. and this is the ongoing podcast, and the video will be uploaded to the YouTube channel at This Is the P.O.C. That's the handle. And you can also look at all of the evidence, all of it captured together for the entirety of the day, where all of the evidence since 2018 up to date is published online. And that is on the P.O.C. website, which is used to not only inform the public, but it's also for the world. Anybody, anyone, anywhere can look at what the entity is doing, because what Satan is doing and what the entity is doing in the United States, this is relevant to what's going on everywhere, because it's letting you know about the environment where surveillance is underway, and it's demonic. So you're talking about a supernatural environment and supernatural behavioral patterns. That's also relevant to mental illness and the behavioral health of that public. It's a national safety concern. It's a public safety concern. All right. This psychopathic behavior, which is delusional, this is it's as straightforward as robbing the bank on camera and not wearing a mask, not wearing any gloves, telling the camera your name and your address, because that's as straightforward as the prosecution of the Ontario Police and disbanding and the removal from law enforcement as it's going to be. There's no mystery there. And that delusional pattern of conduct that the entity has formally relied on, it doesn't work when you're being prosecuted. And this is an entity that is, again, lacking in the ability to understand that it's a new structure now. You're not intimidating or stopping a prosecution. And there is, by the way, no such thing as a return to sender to a return to sender. They're going to prison and they're being disbanded, and everybody's going to witness it, and they're going to be publicly embarrassed. They're already embarrassed, and I'm going to continue to embarrass them because of the criminal conduct and the things that they've done to other American citizens. And perhaps they thought that it worked before, but that was a setup, because when they're doing it against me, it's going to be an open debacle, okay? Openly publicized debacle. That's what you're witnessing. A devastating dismemberment of a corrupt entity. It is currently 9:03 p.m. This is P.O.C.
Flying over my head again. It's 9:12 p.m. This is stalking in the path in perfect illusion. This is gang stalking right here, stalking in the path. Meaning being in line with me after flying over my head from the same TABOR building. That's the Ontario Police still stalking. This is relevant in the federal case. In the federal case against Starbucks, in the federal case against Pizza Hut, and in other words, in the federal RICO case against the people of the state that are targeting with the government, this is the level of impunity that they share in. They're engaging in this criminal activity together. Just as surely they keep driving in traffic, they're still stalking. The federal RICO case against the people of the state, they are engaging in this together. As I capture 25 videos, I can capture 20, 30 videos a day of the entities stalking directly and vicariously. It's relevant to the federal RICO case. They're in violation of a plethora of federal laws while they're engaged in surveillance, stalking, terrorism, psychological torture, harassment. And flying over my head, as I capture video after video, this is criminal conduct that's putting people like Jason Fields and Tracy Banks in prison. Okay? The employees of Starbucks in prison. The employees at OVITT Family Community Library for kidnapping in prison. That's Impossible Light moving across the gate. You see the shadow of those trees? That's Impossible Light. Those are demons, and they're all stalking with the Ontario Police. These are demons, and so are the Ontario Police Department. This is ongoing gang stalking. Ongoing. Every gang stalking company is going to be prosecuted, and the gang stalking employees are going to be prosecuted. These are the demons doing it outside. Stalking amongst the demons. This is not a civilization, by the way. These are animals. These are Neanderthals. These are sex offenders. They're pedophiles. They're sex traffickers. These are what the demon possessed engage in. This is what they're doing it under the fake moon. This is mental illness. This is the same lawlessness that you saw under the fake sun. Okay? You see the Ontario Police back there? This is what they were doing at the OVITT Family Community Library. This is P.O.C. And the Ontario Police is still, you already know that they're stalking even when you don't see them exhibiting mental illness by flying in a circle, obsessing over me, because you saw that Impossible Light activity across the gate that lets you know that the government is stalking. It's surveillance. It's state action. It's currently 9:14 p.m. because this is the evidence that's going to drain the pockets of every gang stalking company. There is no constitutional right to engage in the malicious use of your establishment, your business, to facilitate criminal surveillance with the government that is targeting American citizens in order to murder them, in order to kidnap them. Kidnapping by criminal defamation, falsely depicting you as a criminal, falsely depicting you as mentally ill in order to keep you inside of a state facilitating venue, which is what the gang stalkers of the Ontario Police have engaged in, and San Bernardino County Sheriffs. They're being disbanded. They continuously give evidence against themselves. They're being disbanded. It's over. This is P.O.C. It's 9:30 p.m. The entity engaged in ongoing molestation. They're hitting me with ongoing engineered light while the Ontario Police is still gang stalking, pacing back and forth over me. Them driving on, this is G Street. You can see that Impossible that was on the sidewalk right there. They're hitting me with engineered light, like the people of the state always are. They're always stalking with light. This is what they've been doing, and they're stalking with the Ontario Police, flying over again. The fake moon is here, and this is the ongoing engineered light. This is the entity gang stalking. Just ongoing accumulating video evidence of it. It's 9:30 p.m. at the same TABOR professional building. This is the entity engaged in ongoing stalking, which is documented with the direct evidence of stalking by the police. This is P.O.C.